Good evening. Welcome to World Cinema Reviews. This is Frank the Vamp, and tonight we got a treat. We're going to talk about zombies. And zombie films have been around for a long time now. Thinking about early 1900s, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the Frankenstein monster. And we all remember Boris Karloff in his portrayal of this reanimated dead tissue monster that has man playing gods and cautionary tale of messing with science, with weird science. And we also can think about Haitians, the Haitian culture, and they having this belief that through witchcraft you can actually reanimate a corpse and make him do your bidding for evil. Uh, However, George Romero took an awesome turn of that genre and said, well, what if we get, you know, uh, dead people to just come back alive, and when they come back alive, they crave the taste of human flesh. And George Romero, it's a genius. He's a true horror master. He he did Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead, Land of the Dead. I mean, just awesome, awesome films, man, and that started what today we know as the zombie genre. But once in a while, we need a new injection. We need a new serum. We need a new twist on the series. And in 2002, we got our first entry here in World Cinema Reviews, the first British entry. And the British made a film, a wonderful film called 28 Days Later. And what's so awesome about 28 Days Later? Well, so many things. But let's just start with the director, Danny Boyle. Man, Danny Boyle, you guys remember a little film called Slumdog Millionaire? You know, Best Director Academy Award? Yeah. So we got that caliber director, so we already know that horror films are just awesome anyways, but if we get a fantastic director, it just blows away any preconception. You know he's going to put some twists on it. You know he's going to make this film fun. It's going to make it entertaining. It's going to be creepy. It's going to be scary. And it's going to be an overall just joy to watch. And that's what 28 Days Later is. Let's talk about the plot and who's in it, what's going on with this, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what I love about 28 Days Later. Well, like I said before, it's directed by Danny Boyle. Stars Cillian Murphy, Naomi Harris, uh, Christopher Eccleston, Megan Burns, and Brendan Gleeson. And basically, the plot starts uh, as a cautionary. Once again, great directors have great plots. Uh, Someone trying to do some good. There's an animal rights activist trying to free some innocent animals trapped in this. They happen to be monkeys in this. However, they unfortunately do not, take care and preparation to know what type of animals they're releasing. And it turns out that they ignore the one of the scientists that's safeguarding the animals says, don't do this, don't, because they're infected with a horrible pathogen called the rage virus, and they ignore him. They think he's lying to them, so they free the monkeys, and one of them takes a bite out of someone, and lo and behold, this rage virus, apparently what it does is that in 30 seconds or less, it makes a person completely, utterly insane, turns him into a savage. In fact, it's like a zombie that we hadn't seen before, because this zombie is fast, is furious, is rabid. It's just so uh, lunatic, serial killer, crazy bad dude going crazy out of his mind. attacking everything that walks and biting them and bleeding all over them and infecting them, and the ones that become infected, they infect others, and uh, just the fear of starting a world pandemic. We all seen the videos in CNN and other news organizations about how this could actually happen, for some kind of accident. This virus escapes and infects the world, and then we're all doomed and we're all gonna die. So this is actually an awesome beginning. It actually preys on the truth of the fear of the truth, fear of actual facts, and fear of things that could possibly happen, and the fears of zombies, the fears of the fears of infection, and the film just evolved from there, focusing on one character, the one played by Mr. Cillian Murphy, which he starts playing this character named Jim, and Jim, basically, he wakes up in a hospital. Apparently, the poor guy had a motorcycle accident and he was knocked out unconscious. Meanwhile, all this zombie apocalypse, happened. And by the way, they're not called zombies here. They're called the infected. The infected, but we all know they're zombies. That's basically just another way of calling them. But what happens is that he wakes up. He's just tied to a hospital bed, and with all kinds of tubes coming out of him, and he doesn't know what the heck happened. He was in a coma because of the accident, and he just sees that the hospital is completely empty. He sees signs of the infection with some blood and some horrible imagery, and that's one of the things, by the way, that I'm going to talk about a little bit later and expand. But awesome imagery. He comes out in London and sees that London is completely deserted. Walks around the streets. There's some shots of various landmarks in London, and they're all deserted. I think I heard, and I'm not 100% on this, but I think I heard that all these shots were done extremely early in the morning, and where there's hardly any traffic, so they could block some streets. But it's just genuinely creepy. It's the fear of being alone. What if you go in a coma, you wake up, or you just go to sleep, man? You wake up the next day and you find out you could be the only person left in this world. That's a nightmare right there. Nightmarish things. This critic loves, absolutely loves, imagery that is nightmarish. That Dario Argento, that type of nightmarish things. So many foreign directors use this into, and it works so well. Now, what else? What else can I say? Well, he goes and slowly discover that he's not alone. There's the infected. When he's about to get horribly attacked and murdered, he Naomi Harris, the other actress, playing the character of Selena, and she rescued him, and she's really rough. She tells him what happened, that the zombie apocalypse happened, everybody's dead, and he realizes that she accompanies him, and he realizes that his parents committed suicide when there was no hope, and they didn't want to become infected. So it's just horrible. So he finds out that everyone he ever loved is dead, and he kind of just has to gather the strength to survive. And they meet other survivors, including a little girl, a teenager played by Megan Burns, and they all end up in some after many things happen. I'm not going to spoil much of this film, and I think a lot of people have seen this film, but if you haven't, man, you got to see it. When they go into this, they somehow stumble with this group of soldiers that supposedly they're the good guys. They're going to protect them. And let's start by talking about the elements of the film that I like. Um, the horror, this film, it's the reason why it's so good. It's not just any, survival horror film. It is that, but it's not just that. It's also talking about the human condition. Something that George Romero did a lot in his films, which is what's worse? Are the zombies the worst or are humans the worst? Do we have the capability as human beings to do things so horrible that even monsters wouldn't do it? Food for thought. And in this film, we see, not to spoil too much, but there's some scenes about the soldiers that make you question whether humanity can survive, because once there's no more rules or regulations or authority, the strongest will dictate what will happen. And what could happen is anything, anything. I mean, every crime imaginable, every ludicrous, selfish, murderous, horrible behavior that humans can exhibit, and we see this in a post-apocalyptic world. So that's I love that. Another thing that I really like, I like the music, really awesome, very appropriate for this. Make you feel like you're there. It's not particularly spectacular like other films, but it's adequate. It's more than adequate. And I did love my best things, the nightmarish quality. Some of my best impressions of this film early on, where London is deserted, the abandoned hospital, him being the lone survivor. That's like somebody's worst nightmare, and that works awesome. Uh, Another thing, like I said in the early going, zombies that can run, they can attack you like dogs, like packs of wild dogs. They can't be reasoned with, they can't be bargained with. All they want is to infect you and kill you, so you become like them. It's truly nightmarish. It was groundbreaking. It's extremely well directed. If you haven't seen it, man, what are you waiting for? Uh, 28 days later is just awesome. It's pretty well acted. I still believe that this is one of the things where Mr. Boyle directing, it overshadows everything. Though it's just the direction was so good, so good. I can say that you know this film is something. It makes you think. It's part social commentary. We can think little things about animal rights and think about the horrors of humanity. We can think about the possibility of a world pathogen, and we can just enjoy a good old zombie fan. And it covers everything. The ending doesn't disappoint. Um, it's just an awesome film. It was so awesome, it made pretty good money. It was a big surprise in the United States. It was awesome back in the UK, of course. But it took the United States by storm. So you gotta watch it now. It made an awesome sequel, pretty good sequel, I would say. I still believe that the original is better, but we're gonna talk about the sequel in another video. Um, just all I can say is that I just love this film. I recommend it. Uh, you know, it's an awesome. If you like zombie films, if you like The Walking Dead, you know, this is something awesome to watch. Now, this is Frank the Vamp. Uh, a lot more videos are coming up, um, so stay tuned for more. If you like this video, awesome. Please say you like it. If you didn't, tell me why you didn't like it. And once again, it's only my opinion, but there's little I can say that I did not like about this film. This is just an awesome film. 2 thumbs up. Take it easy. Be blessed. God bless. Good night.